How you doing today? Are you ready for some new releases, quote unquote? Flashback Monday to February 2017. That's right. We're reliving 2017 without my romantic times book review. Let's say a prayer. We miss our. I've just gotten really bad family news too, so. Anyways, hey, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, KRISTEN. This is where I read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy man stuff going on here. And I don't know if you can see, but there is a child next to me. Just thought I'd show her now. So these are books published in February 2017. And if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I would appreciate it very, very, very much. Maybe by my birthday we'll hit 1,000 subscribers. Do you think? Maybe, sort of, kind of, fingers crossed? All right. Now this is what I'm going to look into. This is when I'm like, oh, I need to start this series. So, August, September, look for this series on my channel. So this is Paige Shelton, book Man Dead Style. It's January and the Star City Film Festival has taken the Utah ski resort town by storm. Movie stars are everywhere, carving fresh powder on the slopes and crossing the thresholds of bygone alleys, charming boutique shops, including the Rescued Word, where Claire Henry and her grandfather restore old typewriters and beloved books. When a cinema's hottest hero, Matt Bain, enters their store to buy some personal note cards, it's hard not to be starstruck. But when Claire sees the police leading Matt out of the Fountain Hotel in handcuffs only a few hours later, she can't believe her eyes. The affable actor is accused of killing his sister, but Claire's convinced he's wrong for that role. Now it's open call for suspects as Claire tries to reel in the real killer. Helen Hart, some steamy romance. Jonah Steele is knee-deep in trying to solve the mystery surrounding his family and his brother's objection, and the arrival of his best friend has complicated the situation, although not as much as his infatuation with his brother's therapist, Dr. Melanie Carmichael. The quiet humility of the blonde beauty has enthralled him, and it burns. And CLEELAND. Things are a bit grim at Scotland Yard this Christmas. On the heels of a nasty corruption scandal, the CID must now contend with a killer who is murdering pregnant women so as to steal their babies. Chief Inspector Acton doesn't want Doyle anywhere near this case, of course, but she can't shake the feeling there's more to this concern than the usual overprotectiveness. Get rid of those. And push this up. A lot of books. So. Yes, ma'am. Oh, you're so cute. Okay. Charles Tard, Racing the Devil. In late June 1916, on the eve of the bloody Battle of Somme, a group of English soldiers have last drink before returning to the front. Strangers until the war, they discovered that before the fighting began, they had all lived within 100 miles of another along the southern coast of England. They also had one other thing in common: a passion for motor cars. During daring fate, they make a promise to the future. If they survive the battle ahead and all those to come, they will meet in Paris a year after the war ends. They will celebrate their good fortune by racing motor cars they own, beg or borrow from Paris to Nice. In November 1919, the officers meet as planned, and though their automobiles are not designed for racing, they set out for Nice. But a pair of serious mishaps mar the reunion. In the mountains just north of their destination, one vehicle is nearly run off the twisting, fog-shrouded road, and another crashes, badly injuring the driver. No one knows or will admit to recognizing who was behind the wheel of the rogue car. Back in England 1 year later, a heavy rainstorm, a local rector driving along Sussex coastline loses control of his motor car and is killed. Was it an accident due to the hazardous conditions or another race car incident? Lisa Jackson expecting to die. And this is kind of a extra morbid, sad book today of all days. The menacing words of Grizzly Falls, Montana are not for the faint of heart, but for some they're the perfect setting for partying and pranks. They don't know there's a rapt audience amid the tangled trees, a killer with a different kind of game in mind, but for whom the woods are dark and deep and perfectly deadly. Some places earn their bad reputation through tales or chants. Grizzly Falls is different. Here, killers aren't just the stuff of legends and campfires. Someone is in the nighttime shadows watching the local teens play around in the moonlit woods, waiting for the right time, the right victim to take a life. How sad. Jonathan Kellerman, Heartbreak Hotel. At nearly 100 years old, Dela Mars is far cry from the patients that child psychologist Alex Delaware normally treats. But the charming, witty woman convinces Alex to meet her in a suite in a luxury hotel? What Dahlia wants from Alex are answers to unsettling questions about guilt, patterns of criminal behavior, victim selection. When Alex asks the reason for her morbid fascination, Dahlia promises to tell all during the next session. But when he shows up the following morning, she's dead. Not good. James Grippando, The Most Dangerous Place. According to the FBI, the most dangerous place for a woman between the ages of 20 and 30 is in a relationship with a man. The statistics become all too personal when Jack Switek takes on a new client from his past. It begins at the airport where Jack is waiting to meet his old high school buddy, Keith Ingram, a high-powered banker based in Hong Kong, coming to Miami for his young daughter's surgery. But their long-awaited reunion is abruptly derailed when the police arrest Keith's wife, Isabel. She is accused of conspiring to kill the man who raped her in college. Okay. Winter of the Gods. Snow falls, lights twinkle, and a very disgruntled Celine prowls the streets, knowing that even if she doesn't look for trouble, it always finds her. When a deadly body is discovered sprawled Wall Street's iconic charging bull, it's up to Celine to hunt down the perpetrators. Her ancient skills make her the only one who can track down a conspiracy that threatens the very existence of the goals, including Celine once knew as Artemis. If my books were up, I would say there's a little Acheron up there that knows something about Artemis. But anyway. Rochelle Ayers. Corporate attorney Hannah DuPont Lowell always pictured herself returning to New Orleans to retire. Just not yet, but after her Manhattan company abruptly lays off its staff, there's no better place to figure out a next move than the porch of her plantation-style home. Nestled in the stunning Garden District, DuPont House has been in Hannah's family for 2 centuries. When its 18 rooms and 2 guest houses is far more home than the widowed Hannah needs, still it could make a wonderful inn, especially if she can convince her friends and former co-workers Tanya, Jasmine, and Nadine to join the venture. But in the meantime, Hannah has a high school reunion to attend. College professor St. John McNair, Hannah's one-time classmate, is still the finest guy in the room. Between Hannah's willowy blonde beauty and his uncanny resemblance to Marvin Gaye, they make a striking pair. Will romance get them? Alright, if it's a cozy mystery you want at Thanksgiving or Christmas or Easter or 4th of July, it's Leslie Muir and Joanna Carl and Joanne Fluke. Banana Cream Pie Murder. After an extravagant honeymoon, Hannah is eager to settle down in Lake Eden. But when her mother's neighbor is discovered murdered in the condo downstairs, reality becomes a nightmarish investigation. Victoria Bascom, once renowned stage actress, was active in the theater community during her brief appearance in town and made throngs of enemies along the way. Did a random intruder murder the woman as the police claim, or was it a deadlier shame at play? As Hannah peels through countless suspects and some new troubles of her own, solving this crime might prove trickier than mixing up the ultimate banana cream pie. Pause for love. I got some pause. I got some pause right here. I got some pause. Got my own pause. Why does it not show? Here she is. There's Miss Pause. She's practically sitting on top of the computer. And yet it don't show you. Aw. You look so cute. I don't know how to show you. Oh well. I tried. But anyways. Where was I? Pause for love. There's no quiet on the set when Over the Hills screen star Lawrence Tucker brings his naughty terrier Jellybean on location to the beachside town of Albatross, California. When Jellybean develops a rapport with Tucker's violin tutor, the painfully shy, socially awkward Misty Angel, our arm is twisted, her mind is mischievous animal. Trailing Jellybean leans Misty into the candy store of Bill Woods and a handsome chocolatier with a painful secret and 3-year-old niece to raise. Ah! I see. And this one, must add. I have the Devil in Winter. I need to get these. What's up with you? What's up with you? You like Lisa Kallippis? She's all over there. She's all over there. There's tons of her books over there. She's also got that horror one that came out a couple of years ago. That's still hot on the shelves. Most debutantes dream of finding a husband. Lady Pandora Ravenel has different plans. The ambitious young beauty would much rather stay at home and plot out her new board game business than take part in London season. But one night at a glittering society ball, she's ensnared in a scandal with a wickedly handsome stranger. Ooh. After years of invading marital traps with ease, Gabriel Lord St. Vincent has finally caught a rebellious girl who couldn't be less suitable. In fact, she wants nothing to do with him, so he thinks it's just a great match. What's this? Oh, that's Banana. Cynthia Herod, Eagle, Old Bones. A young couple discovered human remains buried in the garden of their new house. Could this be the resting place of a 14-year-old Anna Knight who disappeared from the same garden 2 decades before and was never seen? This is an ARC. You know? There's no pricing information. It's an ARC. Suzanne Woods Fisher. It's 1730. So anyway, in 1737, Anna Koenig staggers off a small wooden ship after 10 years at sea, eager to start a new life in the vibrant but raw Philadelphia frontier. It's a time of new beginnings, and for Anna and Barnes' shipboard mates, romance to blossom. But this perfect moment cannot last, as Barnes grasps reality of what it means to be Amish in the New World. His enthusiasm evaporates when a ship captain offers him a position of first mate. He grabs a it. Just one more crossing, he promises Anna. But will she wait for him? As a newcomer joins the church, Anna is torn. This man is everything Barn is not. Bold, devoted, and delighted to vie for her heart. But he is not here. But he is here, and Barn is not. Kristen Bertain. Look how thick this is. Jesus. This is 700-800 pages. This must have taken like forever to write. Book 6. Zachary Devel Hillander, High King of Sukia, rules out how much he has had to give up to lead his realm, including the freedom to live and love as he chooses. When an embassy from Electra arrives to propose a joint venture between their realms to seek out an old ally in the north, he is dismayed to learn that the one Scargedian they have in mind to accompany their guide is the woman he truly loves but cannot have, Green Rider. Kerrigan has only just returned from a dark future where Scotia has been conquered and is ruled by a despotic emperor, and she has not recovered in heart or mind. As if that's not enough, the castle ghost won't leave her alone, though Zachary is loath to part from her so soon after her return. He knows that she is the best choice to undertake this mission to the north. See what happens. BJ Daniels, Renegade's Pride. It's been 9 years since Trask Beaumont left the gilt-edged Montana with an unsolved crime in his wake, and Lillian Cahill has convinced herself she's finally over him. But when the rugged cowboy with easy smile suddenly shows up at the bar, there's a pang in her heart. Arguing the attraction never faded, and that's dangerous because Trask has returned on the mission to clear his name and win her back. Julia London. Look, I think it's this week or next week, but check out Naked Guy on the cover. Selena will get it. Widowed and forced to remarry in 3 years' time or forfeit her son's inheritance, Daisy Brisfold Laddie Chocolate has plenty of suitors vying for her hand and her fortune. But a letter from a long-lost love sends Daisy and her young son to the Scottish Highland estate to buy time for his return. Along the way, she encounters the powerful Galen Mackenzie, Laird of Arundel, and a notorious smuggler, and she is utterly and unwittingly bewitched. Aww. Alright. Miss Armstrong. Absolute. Darkness? Absolute. When experienced homicide Casey Duncan first moved to the secret town of Rockton, she expected a safe haven for people like her, running from their past misdeeds and past lives. She knew living in Rockton meant living off the grid completely. No cell phone, no internet, no mail, very little electricity, and no way of getting in or out without the town council's approval. If you haven't seen my video on this book, check out my video on this book. I had to tear my whole bookcase apart to get to this. Born of Vengeance. It's got the good paper, too. Bastian Cabero survived the brutal slaughtering of his entire family only to have his wife pin their murders on him. Made raven by the League, he is now a target for their assassin in training to hunt and kill. The average life expectancy for being in such is 6 weeks, but defying the odds is what Guy Run Force officer does best, and Bastian won't rest until he slays his betrayers in their graves. 10 years later, he has one chance to balance the scales of justice, provided he relies on his former wingman, the very sister of the woman who testified against him. Major Ember Wildstrom joined the outlaw Trevelli the day Cavell fell into the hands of the tyrant, and she and her sister team left on the outpost to die under a barrage of enemy fire. The last thing she wants is to be in politics again, but she's gonna help him. If you haven't seen my Christine FEEHAN video, Go watch it. Do I own them all? Do I? Do I? Do I? When members of United Nations joint security forces are taken hostage by a radical terrorist in Indonesia, Captain Azil Fortune is called to lead the rescue team. Part of classified government experiment, Zeke is a super soldier with enhanced abilities. He can see better and run faster than enemy, disappear when necessary, and hunt along any terrain. Those are the world willing to do anything with power like that. Spy. Alright. Anyway, one more. MC Beaton, Death of a Ghost. When Police Sergeant Hamish Macbeth hears a report of a haunted castle near Drim, he assumes the eerie noises and lights reported by the villagers are just local teenagers going there to smoke pot or worse, inject themselves with drugs. Still, Hamish decides that he and his policeman, Charlie Clumsy Carson, will spend the night at the ruined castle to get the bottom of the rumors once and for all. There's no sign of any ghosts, but then Charlie disappears through the floor. Turns out he's fallen into the cellar. And what Hamish and Charlie find there is worse than a ghost. It's a dead body. Ooh. Alright, now. I'm going to do this one here, and then we'll do the other one. But I was just looking at December 2025 Bookmark magazine, and they had an article, great opening lines in fiction and non-fiction. You can't see it, I'll put the stuff up here. But one of the books that they talk about in this particular article, written in February 2000, or published in 2017. They said, the back says, history is seldom kind. In Min Lee J's less best-selling magisterial epic, 4 generations of poor, proud immigrant family fight to control their destinies, exiled from the homeland they never knew. In the early 1900s, teenage Sunja, the adored daughter of crippled fishermen, falls for a wealthy stranger at the seashore near her home in Korea. He promises the world, but when she discovers she's pregnant and that her lover is married, she refuses to be bought. Instead, she accepts an offer of marriage from a genteel, sickly minister passing through on his way to Japan. But her decision to abandon her home and to reject her son's powerful father sets off a dramatic saga that will echo through the generations. Okay, that's what the back of the book said. The article in book page says, the deceptively simple line, history has failed us, but no matter. The deceptively simple line sets the tone for the sweeping family saga, which follows a multi-generational Korean family experience in 20th century Japan, where they are treated as second-class citizens. The history involves war, colonialism, displacement, poverty, and discrimination. The no matter reflects the character's resilience, dignity, and acceptance. The Panko game serves as a metaphor for the unpredictable yet inevitable march of life in which characters, especially women, fight to escape their own destinies despite the crushing forces against them, especially from World War II. So I just thought that was really weird that it showed up in the magazine the same time I was going to do it. The last book, published in February. Sorry, ma'am. She's going to Sweepies here. The last book, published every February and every September. And in the olden days, we would get 4 books a year, but now we only get 2. Well, technically we get 5. She does 2 Nora Roberts and 2 J.D. Raps now. But Eve Dallas is a lieutenant in the New York City Police and Security Department. Peabody is her partner. McNabb is Peabody's partner. He also works as a detective in EDD under Feeney. Feeney was Eve's old mentor. Rourke is her husband. Somerset is the major domo. Whitney is her boss. Mira is the department shrink. Nadine is the reporter and Oscar winner. And Mavis is her best friend, and Leonardo is her husband. And there's a whole lot more going on in Echoes in Death. We got one of those. This is also the stage of the cover. Several of the books have these fancy covers. Eve closed the door and walked in the killer's footsteps. Had he known where to find the master suite, or had he walked from room to room until he found it? Either way, she thought he'd done a little walk around, a little hunt. Plenty of time, plenty of spaces to hide if he heard anything coming, because the show didn't start until everyone but the Strasses had left the house. Plenty of time, she thought again, so he had left the patients to wait close to 3 hours. Had to set the stage, she mused as she went into the master. She blanked out the bloodiness, the swoop of dust, and the signs of struggle. She let herself see the room as the killer had. I bet you went through the closets. Eve moved to Daphne's closet as she spoke. Sure you did, and you picked out the dress you take with you. I'd put money on that. He had set the stage, but he had waited. He'd only have to keep the door open, maybe a few feet outside the room, to hear the guests over dessert. Those saying their goodnights. Excitement builds. Check your makeup, adjust the mask, set out the tools, set the light. Ease behind the door as you hear them coming up. Curtains going up. Yes, you could see a couple of hours of brutality, fun, times, and profitable. Eve left the bedroom, walked through the house again, trying to imagine his movements. Unlike the killer, she locked the door when she left. Echoes in Death. And if you haven't started yet, I started at Christmas, and every single Saturday we're discussing the characters. We have talked about plot in my reviews, so please go check those out. D. Louise book series, J.D. Robb, and all the in-depth titles out there. We've done them all. But this year we're doing characters. We're talking about the characters, the character progression, reading all the quotes, having some fun with the books. Every single Saturday. There's over 60 of them. It's going to take us the whole year. They're my comfort books. They're my go-to books. So that is the end of Flashback Monday to February 2017. How's it going? Have a good one. Oh, wait a second. You want to say hi? Come here. There she is. There's Grumpy. Have a good one.